Welcome to the Sci-Fi Evolution channel. In the beginning, our creator created a world of beauty and tranquility. When he felt lonely, he populated this world with creatures he had created in his own image. He made sure that no one was oppressed in this world full of vast expanses, peaceful silence, and numerous fruit-bearing trees. All beings lived in relative peace and harmony. While only the Arcanians were given the gift of intelligence, everyone else had at least a basic understanding of how to act and behave in the presence of a kind and compassionate God. There was no conflict, no fear, because everyone had everything they needed. Even if someone was too weak to pick the fruit, they could just wait, fall asleep, and wake up refreshed and refreshed. In his infinite wisdom, our Creator saw fit to fill the air with energetic matter and design our bodies to absorb it. The main star in our cosmos supported life in all aspects. As you know, over time we got tired and started thinking. We looked up at the sky and asked, what else is there? We invented the wheel, writing, quantum computers, and more, until finally we soared above our humble beginnings, our lullaby planet. After millions of eons of technological advancements, we have achieved our goal. We have walked away from the embrace of our Creator, the beautiful green and blue sphere that He created for us. We evolved as a species ready to go into space in search of other intelligent life. We set out on a journey to explore distant systems, landing on strange but familiar worlds, undoubtedly created by benevolent beings like ourselves. Over time, wherever we looked, we found more and more intelligent life born in paradisiacal worlds created to meet their needs. Their people are undoubtedly divine beings, akin to our own, just as our deities intended. We have embarked on the path of cooperation. We have built monumental structures. We researched and studied together. We have become stronger. It was like we were one close-knit family. The majestic galactic syndicate, that's what we called ourselves. And for a while, everything seemed to be going well, except for the occasional black hole or monstrous gas giant. Reality as a whole was a warm and friendly place where all intelligent beings could come together and enjoy life. However, as we have learned from our revered philosophers, scientists, and religious figures of ancient times, there is a world that is the opposite of all others. This world is inhabited by beings who commit every imaginable taboo. Life is devouring itself there and is ready to do anything to survive. It is a chaotic world filled with extreme cold and heat, unstable weather conditions, changing landscapes, and catastrophic events. Lifestyle can change in an instant. Nothing is certain, and those who want to survive must constantly adapt and overcome difficulties. A world where only the strongest can survive and transform themselves according to the laws of the infernal kingdom. I can't imagine terrifying creatures who would call such a place their home. They are undoubtedly perverted and vicious beyond the comprehension of mortals. Their very existence strikes terror and madness into the minds, especially the minds of the innocent and weak-willed. Most people assumed or hoped that such a world did not exist. It was a frightening but intriguing what-if scenario. They thought that there could be no deity who harbored malice and indifference. They were wrong. The grace arrived in what we now call the Hades system, and thought they would find a couple of gas giants in a populated world created by benevolent aliens. Unfortunately, this is far from the case. We're not entirely sure what they witnessed, but they didn't activate all the emergency systems until 12 hours after their arrival, and they ran as fast as their hyperdrive would allow. After their rescue, the crew underwent a thorough medical examination and psychological evaluation. Many were in a state of panic, to put it mildly, and some were on the verge of catatonia. Whatever they encountered had destroyed their minds and posed a serious threat to the entire galaxy if action was not taken immediately. Thus, without further delay, A research expedition was sent to investigate this mysterious cosmic anomaly. Deep down, we all knew what was about to be revealed to the galaxy. We only hoped that we were wrong. 8 months later, the research expedition returned, and our worst fears were confirmed. There was a blue sphere of destruction and chaos on the screen, a world of annihilation. Inhabited by monstrous creatures and grotesque abominations, it seemed to be a malignant neoplasm on the fabric of space. According to the bravest and smartest members of the syndicate, this planet was infected with every conceivable nightmare. From colossal carnivorous reptiles to microscopic viruses, even some of the flora in this world had a taste for death and destruction. There was no denying that we had finally discovered a world created by the deity of endless struggle and eternal torment. While all other deities embrace goodness and light, she rejects these virtues. However, the deeper we plunged into the darkest depths of this world, the more we realized that it wasn't that simple. The creatures that inhabited this realm were not just shadows or figments of our imagination. They were real, tangible, and they thrived in the dark. They couldn't be ignored or dismissed. They were a force to be reckoned with. And that's why we did it. We've unleashed a torrent of fire on the world, hoping to burn it down. We thought that the flames would consume everything, leaving behind only ashes. But the fire did not consume the world. He only strengthened the creatures, made them more resilient. They came out of the flames, their bodies burned and singed, but they didn't give up. They were not defeated. They couldn't be defeated. We had to find a way to destroy them, to eradicate them from existence. And that's why we did it. We have unleashed a plague on the world, a disease that would destroy them. We thought the plague would spread like wildfire, consuming everything in its path. But the plague did not spread. She only strengthened the creatures, made them more resilient. They came out of the plague, their bodies weakened, but they were not defeated. They couldn't be defeated. They couldn't be defeated. We had to find a way to destroy them, to eradicate them from existence. And that's why we did it. We brought down a storm on the world, a storm that would destroy them. We thought that the storm would sweep them away, leaving behind only debris. But the storm did not sweep them away. He only strengthened the creatures, made them more resilient. They emerged from the storm, their bodies battered and bruised, but were not defeated. They couldn't be defeated. They couldn't be defeated. We had to find a way to destroy them, to eradicate them from existence. And that's why we did it. We brought down a flood on the world, a flood that would drown them. We thought that the flood would flood them, leaving behind only a memory. But the flood did not flood them. It only strengthened the creatures, made them more resilient. They came out of the flood, their bodies soaked and soaked, but they were not defeated. They couldn't be defeated. They couldn't be defeated. We had to find a way to destroy them, to eradicate them from existence. And that's why we did it. We unleashed a tsunami on the world, a tidal wave that would engulf them. We thought that the tsunami would swallow them up, leaving only a void. But the tsunami did not consume them. It only strengthened the creatures, made them more resilient. They emerged from the tsunami, their bodies battered and bruised, but were not defeated. They couldn't be defeated. They couldn't be defeated. We had to find a way to destroy them, to eradicate them from existence. And that's why we did it. We brought down a hurricane on the world, a cyclone that would destroy them. We thought that the cyclone would destroy them, leaving behind only a memory. But the cyclone did not destroy them. He only strengthened the creatures, made them more resilient. They emerged from the cyclone, their bodies battered and bruised, but were not defeated. They couldn't be defeated. They couldn't be defeated. We had to find a way to destroy them, to eradicate them from existence. And that's why we did it. We dropped a proton bomb on the world, a weapon of mass destruction that would destroy them. We thought that a proton bomb would destroy them, leaving only a void. But the proton bomb did not destroy them. She only strengthened the creatures, made them more resilient. They came out of the proton bomb, their bodies charred and burned, but were not defeated. They couldn't be defeated. They couldn't be defeated. We had to find a way to destroy them, to eradicate them from existence. To combat rising sea levels, we would have to destroy most, if not all, of the life on Iliant. However, somehow, life went on. When we returned for the second attempt, we found that this world was populated with new horrors, even more terrifying and frightening than the original ones. Therefore, since the freeze didn't work, we decided to take a different approach. We amplified the rays of the sun, causing the surface of the planet to burn. We also dried up the main reservoirs and launched every volcano we could find. At first, we thought that we had succeeded, that the universe was finally safe. But upon closer inspection, we found that several hardy creatures had survived. Not just survived, but thrived. It wasn't until our third attempt that we realized we had made a big mistake. By this point, we were fed up. We could almost hear this vile world and its evil goddess mocking us as if they were playing with us. Having no other options, we decided to apply certain forbidden disciplines that we once vowed never to unleash into space. I won't bore you with the details, but in a nutshell, we used technologies that shouldn't have fallen into the hands of mere mortals. We interfered with their atmosphere, literally knocking the wind out of their sails, polluted every water source we could find. And to top it all off, we used gravitational kinetic proton bombs in an attempt to destabilize their planet's core and tectonic plates, or at least even more than they already were. We watched tirelessly, methodically dismantling this planet, atom by atom. When everything began to die quickly, we realized that we had been blinded by our fears and ambitions. In our zeal to save the galaxy from the horrors of this world, we were only playing into the hands of this planet. It's only now that we realize that with every failed attempt, we were inadvertently helping the surviving creatures in their rapid adaptation and evolution. We have accelerated a process that would otherwise have taken aeon. We were doomed from the very beginning. The evil deity of this realm has trapped us, making fools of us. At that moment, many began to lose hope and abandon our noble endeavor. Some chose to defect from the system, while others sought refuge in the merciful embrace of madness, seeking escape from the grim reality we had created. There were even a few brave souls who, on their ships, with flaming engines and a last prayer on their lips, rushed into this world of nightmares and hatred, in a final act of defiance against such immeasurable evil. These three plans, as well as those who would later be called victims of stupidity and recklessness, unfolded over time. After countless generations, the brilliant scientist my ancestor, Raced, has decided that the time has come to act. The great leader of the powerful theocracy of Inhalis, with the help of divine inspiration, suggested that the only way to truly destroy the whole world is to strike it with another world. Of course, as we all know, using a part of the great divine creation as a weapon is considered an act of the highest order. Therefore, he chose something similar, something close to the world, and therefore, in our last attempt to eradicate this terrible plague, this disease of the galaxy, our ancestors launched the largest asteroid they could find, filled with divine energy, into the kingdom of the dark goddess. And that's how it was done. We finally won. Of course, there was no need to check if anything had survived. That would be absurd. Instead of facts that can be refuted or inventions that fail, we have and always will have something much more powerful. Faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in our deities, and the belief that good always overcomes evil. As we clung to our faith and watched the surface of this now lifeless and desolate rock from the safety of our home systems, we could finally conclude once and for all that the universe was saved, or so we thought. until one of the reconnaissance drones that Mercy had left behind suddenly started transmitting data back to its home system. It seemed that something, or rather someone, had initiated the protocol for the first contact. It must have been a cruel joke. It just couldn't be true, no matter how much we wanted to believe it. The truth could not be refuted. About 37 hours ago, the G1439515 reconnaissance drone detected the presence of a primitive spacecraft departing from the planet GA-14, which was named after the dark goddess. It is believed that the world was shaped and brought into existence by us, but our initial efforts to eradicate these monstrous creatures only encouraged them to adapt to these cataclysms. It seems that our ultimate failure forced them to adapt not to our technological advances, but to our minds. This cursed world has finally produced creatures that can rival our intelligence in terms of ingenuity, cunning, and deception. And now they have finally managed to escape from the stranglehold of their deity. Like a contagion, they are spreading through the stars. They will reach us soon. May the gods save us.